Flosstube, I'm Lori and welcome to Once Upon a Stitch. Today is Friday, September 30th, 2022. It is my 109th Flosstube video. Welcome to all my subscribers and viewers. Anybody who's new, welcome. I hope you stick around. I hope you like what you see and maybe subscribe. I have everything laid out on my table here and I'm hoping I don't forget anything, but today I'm going to answer a few questions. I'm going to show you some fully finished pieces that I just did and one previous finish because a viewer asked to see it, even though it wasn't that long that I showed it. Okay, we'll get into that, but a little life update. Since we were together, I think the last time I videoed, it was Caleb's birthday, and we were heading over to Michael and Rebecca's house to celebrate that. So we got home kind of late, very little cross stitching, but it was fun. It was nice to see him enjoy. They put up a bouncy house for him, so that was fun, but he wanted company in it, and we didn't have too many little ones that would go in with him. So he was dragging both sets of grandparents at different times in there. So it was fun. And then the following weekend, which was this past Saturday, we had Rebecca's sprinkle and she had a lovely time. And that was the best part of it. It was hosted by her mom, her aunt, and myself here at my house. And we were a small group, maybe like 25. And my husband had grilled some special. We ordered most of the food, and then he did some grilling, and he and Mike hung around and went around to see if people wanted to drink or anything else. But it was really lovely, and the best part was that she did enjoy it. So that was that weekend. And then this upcoming weekend, nothing. Oh, Gianna's coming to visit on Sunday. Actually, we're preparing her because since Amy's been home, she had worked this past summer, and I was watching Gianna 2 days and her mom watched her 3 days. And now that Amy's home again, Gianna's getting very, very attached to her. So they have a wedding to attend in October. I think it's the October 16th weekend. My calendar's covered with all stuff that I'm showing you today. But I think it's that weekend. They're going to leave on Saturday and come back on Sunday. So Gianna will be spending that time here with us. And so we want to get her used to being away from Amy again. So we're going to start this Sunday. Amy's going to leave her for a while, and then hopefully they'll both come over and have Sunday dinner with us afterwards. And then that's about it, really. I think nothing else major happening in October. So maybe I'll get a little bit more stitching time in. And maybe some quilting. Okay, questions. The first question, oops, I'm sorry for bouncing here. First question somebody asked was, what did I mean by burying my threads? And that's when I showed the 2 car seat quilts in my last video that I made for the upcoming twins to be brought home from the hospital. And it was something that I just came up with the name of it, car seat quilts, because I guess like leaving the hospital, you just kind of cover them a little bit so you get to the car where it's probably warm and you don't need them, and then to the house. So you want something small so that it doesn't drag anywhere or whatever. So it was something I came up with. I hope they enjoy it when they use it. So burying threads. So when you start in sewing or quilting, I usually bring up my thread to the front. And the way you do that is you hold the top thread, turn the wheel, 1 full turn until the needle comes back up, and you pull the thread and it starts to bring up the bottom thread. And then you, whether you use a point of a scissor, a needle, your finger, you pull up the bottom thread. So you have both threads on the top when you start stitching. And then you stitch whatever, and then at this point you end your thread. And I usually leave a tail. So burying your thread means you take the 2 that you start with at the top and you make a little knot. I'm getting close. Let's see, where's the camera? There it is. And there's the knot. And then you bury it between the two layers of your front and back fabric into the batting. So I put my needle between the two threads that were coming up, and it's sticking out down here. So what I'll do then is I'll gently tug to pull the needle down, the knot down, and then I will snip it off here. Now for the bottom one, because one thread's on the top and one thread's on the bottom, you have two options. You can knot it and then do the same thing on top and bottom, or you can bring your top thread to the bottom or vice versa, knot it and do it the same way. So that's what burying your threads mean. The next was, thank you very much for all the people who were able to tell me about MEZ, M-E-Z threads. They're part of the, and I'll share it with everybody else in case you haven't read the comments, they're part of Anchor, and they're from, people have said Germany and Austria, as far as maybe where they're made, but they're all part of the Anchor company. So thank you for answering that. I got a lovely thank you card from Cheryl. She won one of my giveaways, and she wrote a lovely note inside. So thank you, Cheryl. Thank you very much. I always save these cards in a special box. And then I also received a thank you. This is from Kim. She made a card like this with a lovely note inside, and she shared a calico confectionery pattern autumn gatherer. Isn't he cute? And I love all the autumn themes on him. So thank you very much, Kim. And also, Kathy emailed me that she received the giveaway. So thank you so much, Kathy, for letting me know that. Okay. Somebody asked for me to show Autumn in the Village again. They're working on it, and they said that the trees are getting to them. And I totally understand, because they're very confetti heavy. Well, I mean, probably you feel the same way. Who's stitching this? I can't remember who asked the question, but here's Autumn in the Village, and I'll get up a little bit closer. See, yeah, the trees have multiple colors in them. And I think the way I handle the trees, if I remember, is I had made a photocopy so that, number one, I could hold it closer to where I'm working. And then I used colored pencils to mark the different colored threads that I was using and which one I was using, so that whenever I picked it up, I had an idea of where I left off. So yeah, these were the ones that I guess were the most colors. But there it is, Autumn in the Village. And I just finished it on a piece of mat board with some fiberfill, batting, not fiberfill, batting. And then I just laced the back, and I used magnets on this. This was a Hobby Lobby, I don't know if it was in their spring collection. And I guess if you want a number, it's 5483532. And it was originally $19.99, but I never buy at full price. I wait for at least 50% usually. And so I had this downstairs with my autumn display stuff now. And what I did was I took out the scarecrow that was sitting here, and I kind of made it work with the bench and the pumpkin. Okay. And then somebody asked me why I prefer working with Lugana over Ada, I think it was. And because I stitch on 28 count Lugana, which is comparable to 14 count Ada. To me, sometimes Ada is a little stiff. Not that I mind stiffness so much, because I do like body to my fabrics. I don't like them when they're too limpy. Is that a word? Limpy? Limp. So that being said, I like the feel of Lugana. Some Luganas are easier to stitch on than others. I think it depends on the color of the fabric. Sometimes if a thread is very close to the color, I do have trouble seeing the holes, and I do a lot of restitching because I might not miss a hole, but usually come too close. Instead of going over two, I might just go one and then realize when I go back to stitch it that I made the mistake and I have to take it out. And then sometimes I like the finish of it. Because Lugana has smaller holes, the rest of the fabric that's not showing, I guess, gives a little different feel to the project. I think I own more Lugana and 28 count than I do Aida pieces. Yeah. And not that I don't like working on Aida, I do. I'm working on a number of pieces on Aida right now. So it's just the feel of the fabric. A lot of times I go for that. Okay, I was watching Little House Stitcher, I think her name is Angie, and she lives in a little house, and she started making floss tubes a while ago, and I've been watching her since the beginning, and she pulled out a piece that she finished, and I'm like, oh, I finished that. What did I do with it? Did I fully finish it? I don't think so. So I went in my box of unfinished projects and I found it, and I think I'd like to get it done by soon, but by the next video. I'm going to put that on my to-do list. And I don't remember the name of this. This was a Blackbird pattern. Is it? I should have looked it up. By the Spell of the Moon? Was it something like that? I don't remember. It was in one of the books, I believe. Autumn Winds. I'll look, by the time I finish it, I will have all the details for you. And this was done on a 28 count Lugana. So I'll make a little pillow out of that. I probably didn't do it because I didn't know if I had the fabric that I wanted to, and I might have to look to buy a piece of fabric. The Halloween fabrics that I had once bought to make lap quilts for my sons and daughter-in-law. I did that a couple of years ago, just with I actually bought fabric and cut 5-inch squares and then just sewn them all together and made somewhat of a lap quilt for them. And so it's more, I don't think I want to use that kind of a Halloween print. I think I'd like to use a more darkish Halloween print. Not darkish in color, but darkness and feel, if that makes sense. I did have 2 fully finished pieces that I did this time. And the first one was a hands-on design and Autumn Skies. I did this one. This will be on my radar, I guess, for next. I'm going to do it before next fall, but I do want to do both projects. And this is my finish on that one. Autumn Skies and Pumpkin Pies. They provided, Kathy provided the felt cutout, and I just sewed it into the seams. Then I found a button and a ribbon, and this is the back of the pillow. And I stitched it on the bottom. Not perfectly, but it's done. I like it. So I can go down and put it with my rest of my fall stuff now. And I also finished, this was a Blackbird pattern, and it was called Blackbird, and it's from the Mystic Magical tour by the Beatles. And I have The Long and Winding Road, Strawberry Fields Forever, and now I have Blackbird. And this is done on a 28 count. I don't remember the fabric off the top of my head, but my husband, I was telling him he has to put the pieces that hold the back in. We have the top, but he has to put in the two side pieces, and he hasn't done that yet, but I grabbed it anyways to share with you. And he said he sees them like this modeling there, and he says, is that supposed to be there, or like did something happen to it? I said, no, that's the fabric. So I think this might have been Legacy. I picture this plus, or Wren, maybe one of those. I think it was Legacy. I think it was unmarked actually, and when I picked it up. So it's not perfectly laced. I did lace it, as far as I try to get the same amount of space on this side because it was less on that side to make it work for this frame. So once the piece is secured in there, I will hang it somewhere up here. Okay, I'm going to look down at my notes because I don't want to forget anything. Okay, so what have I been working on? And in no particular order. The first one is Casting a Spell by Blackbird Designs. And I do have this box. I have not painted it yet. Probably it'll be ready by next Halloween because I haven't finished stitching it. And I've only stitched one block. And I think this was the weekend of Caleb's party, because then the next day we went over my other son's house to spend time with Gianna. So, so I didn't get much. I was tired. Let's put it that way. I was tired. And so what I've stitched this time, yes, it's here. And this one here, it lays horizontally, but the pattern in the book is listed vertically. I made a copy of that page and I turned it to be horizontal, and I stitched it horizontally so that the stitches would match the rest of the pieces. So this one is finished. That's how it ends. Those are the other blocks, and that's all I stitched in the 2 days. So what I have left is, let's see, I did that one. This is the one I said it is finished. I do have that done. The only things I have left to do is this one and the house. So this one and this one are the only two that I have left to do. And then of course, finishing it so that it fits in the block. I think it's called to be stitched on a 32 count, and I stitched it on a 16 count Aida. So these are the other two pieces that I stitched from there. And this is done on a 16 count Heartland. And, oh, here's a little one for Halloween. So 2 left to stitch. I will probably pick this up in October just because it's the season. And if I get it done, great. If not, it's going to be carried over to 2023 and definitely will be a finish by then. The next one was a new start that I had, and that was a festive fall series, and this is the first house, and it's by Country Cottage Needleworks, and that was this one. It came with the threads, and it came from my friend Kelly, and because it came with the threads and they were Belsois silks, I was afraid that I wasn't going to have enough. I know everybody probably feels that when they have a kit, but being that it wasn't DMC, to me it was going to be harder to find something that would match. So what I had decided to do originally was I was just going to do the square around the house and then leave these to the very end to make sure that I had enough for the other pieces. And I had put these on thread rings, and it was one strand. I think though they were 8 to a strand. It was more than 6. And when I went to take one of the brown colors, which was called Cinnamon Stick, I put my needle in to lift it out, and I must have pierced it because it tangled up the whole 8 skeins of them. So I'm like, oh my gosh, now what am I gonna do? So I took my time and I separated it all out. So I was able to salvage it. And one piece was unsalvageable, the one I stuck the needle in, because that kept shredding. But anyway, I did have enough. So I finished the house section, and then I did go back and I did do the top. And this is stitched on, let me see, I must have it here, 28 count desert khaki. And that's the first house. And I think it's so pretty in the fall colors. So the next one then would be the little girl here. The next time I picked that up. So that was a new start. And I don't count it as a finish, even though like they're individual little pieces, because I'm stitching it all on one fabric. Okay, the next one I picked up was Opening Gambit by Long Dog Samplers. And normally I go to Staples and I enlarge the pattern. So it's easier to mark, it's easier to see, but I haven't gotten to Staples, so I made a photocopy of it here at home, and I still definitely mark on it with yellow pencil and where I've left off. My goal this year was to complete 2 pages, and that was for my whip goal. But my goal for the piece is to work on it every month for at least 2 days. So I finished the 2 pages the last time I showed you this, and this is stitched on a 28 count white Lugana. And so this is the 3rd page here, and what I've stitched, I think I had the animal. Is that the horse? Yeah, it might be a horse. I think the horse was done. So I stitched from the top border over, down, and the word move. So if you look at it, here's the Y-O-U-R, which I showed the last one, but I then moved down to M-O-V-E and a bird. And then I worked down a little bit there. So that is Opening Gambit, and it's a play on a chessboard. And that was, I didn't do all the like straights, like I did put the spider in here, and I did put, I guess the butterfly there, but there's some stitches that are like, I don't know, like maybe Smyrna crosses like around here. I haven't done them yet. And then I was looking, I'm stitching here right now, and they have these long, ropes, I guess, for the balloon, hot air balloon. And I probably, if they're not exactly on the angle of a straight cross stitch, they're probably long stitches, and I will probably do them at the end so that they don't get messed up while I'm stitching the project. I'm putting it in a Q-snap because I stitch using a Q-snap. Then another new start I had, and this is Calendar Crates November, and I love November. I love fall, and so I really fell in love with this piece here, but I'm not doing it on black fabric, so I decided to do it on a 28 count Country Mocha. So I had to change a lot of the, not a lot of them, but some of them. And trying to think which ones I changed the wagon wheels. Oh, and I changed the inside of the flowers. That's what I did. I used most of the called for threads. So this is where I've gotten to. Now, if you go look closely, I guess these are flowers, and it was charted for the vine to be in white and the inside of the flowers to be in white. Well, I wasn't going to do a white border. To me, that's a vine of leaves and flowers, so I did it in green. And then I took out the white because it was so stark. I did all of it. I did these in the wagon. I did all up here, and they just look so stark to me. So I took that all out, and I used the gold thread that was called for Queen Bee, and I substituted Queen Bee there. The wheels here were charted for white and the handle of the wagon. And then there was a white pumpkin here, and there's a very little green, green in here to resemble the tops of the pumpkin. So this one was a white pumpkin, but I didn't want the wheels to be white. So I selected, do we have a black on here? No, I think I selected, I don't remember. I don't know if it was black coffee or something like that, where it was black. Oh, here it is. No, actually I used hickory sticks. Hickory sticks was used for that. But it looks like almost a darkish black gray. So hickory sticks were used for the wheels. And I was putting some other threads away, and I came across this one because there's supposed to be some stitches inside the wheel, which I didn't do because I couldn't decide on what color I wanted to do them. And I was pulling some, but I didn't like it. But I think I might put the inside of this gray inside that wheel and see how it looks. So it moved pretty quickly, considering I had some frogging to do. And it's hard to see all the details in this picture. But I'm going to change the color of the house because that was supposed to be stitched with bamboo. And I haven't decided yet, but I'm leaning towards this limited color. These are the two colors that I pulled out. One is Classic Colorworks Tea and Biscuit, which is this one. And the other one is it's a Crescent Colorworks, so it's old. And Needleworkers was selling like maybe 5 of them together a while ago, and I picked them up and I just kept them in my stash. And so I haven't decided. If you have any thoughts, please share them. Either Tea and Biscuits, which would be this one, but I'm leaning more towards this one to pick up the colors of the pumpkins and the leaves and fall. But anyway, so that was a new start. And it'd be interesting to see how this comes out, since I'm doing it on something that they didn't call for as far as color of the fabric, where that it would normally pop. Then I picked up, because it was Sampler September, the Plant Wisdom Sampler by Brenda Keys and the Sampler Company. And I was stitching on these houses here. I had done all the roof on the first house and most of the roof on the second house. And this is stitched on a 28 count ivory Lugana. And the frog definitely came to visit with me. So I had this top roof done. And I started, now I can see the variegation. There's two different colors on the house. So I started with that lighter color, and I did the couple of rows, and then I put in the first window frame, and I'm working to the second one, and all of a sudden something just didn't line up. And this was the first day that I picked this up, and so I tore out the whole thing. And instead of starting over, I moved over to this house, and I had to finish 2 rows of the gray of that house before I went into the next section with the windows. So that was that first night. Then the second night I went back and I said, okay, let me start here and take my time. And So then I was able to, and get the first, I guess, sidewalk down, because it's brown, it's not. So that's where I stopped after the 2 days, and this is the whole piece. I love that alphabet. It's so pretty. I think it's so pretty. So this will be a long project, but I do enjoy working on it. And but this is one of the fabrics I was talking about where I can lose the holes in it. So I have to really have good lighting. And actually I've been using the BenQ light, and I really enjoy it. And it helps me see the threads. I started that in the afternoon when I made the mistake. And then in the evening when I realized it, that's when I ripped it out. So my eyes were tired, and so that's how it goes. And then last night, was the second night I worked on this by Primrose Cottage, Christmas Letters, and I finished it. So this was stitched on a 28 count light taupe. And at first I didn't know, it was in the Q-snap, and I says, gee, I wonder what fabric this is. And I took out a ring of sample fabrics that I put together. And when I matched it matched up to mushroom. So, I don't know, they marked it as a light taupe. It looks like mushroom to me. But here's the finished product. And I hope to get this fully finished for this season. I have an idea to do this, so I hope it works out. I'm not going to promise the next video, but maybe the one after that. So, okay, so those are what I've worked on. Then I had a giveaway. I had 2 giveaways. The first one was, flip up her name, from Cottage Garden Samplings, and it's called Forever and Ever. And number 32 out of 60 people won, and that was Carla Dayhoff. There you go. Cara, not Carla, Cara Dayhoff. I will put my email, or you can reach me on Instagram. I'll put both of them in the bottom. And please send me your mailing address. Please be over 18 years old. And the second one was Plum Street, Kringle and Woolard. And we had 73 people put in for it, and Arlene Curry is the winner of Kringle and Woolard. So Arlene and Cara, please get in touch with me and send me your address, and I will be happy to get that in the mail to you. Okay. I'm going to do another giveaway. And I went through my questions of the list that you all gave me of questions to ask. So, and this is something I want to know as well. My hair is such a mess today. Oh, whatever. The question is, how do you store your charts? I have no good way to store my charts. I have them in 2 baskets, fabric baskets, and originally I was trying to do them in alphabetical order. But I wasn't crazy about that. And then some are small, like, you know, the Lizzie Kate's Hands on Heart and Hand, they're smaller. So then I started putting the small ones in another bucket. Then I was like saying, oh, but maybe these are the ones I want to do first before I went. So like I have no organization as far as patterns yet. So the question is, how do you organize your patterns? So, and you'll just put 1, 2, 3 as far as what you like to be entered for. And you can actually, if you want to be entered for all 3, you can put all 3, but you're only going to win one of them. So this way it gives everybody a chance to win. The first one is a waxing moon design, and it is number 1. Let me move this up top so you can see the picture. And it's Frosty Friends. And I stitched this pattern. And I finished it in a flat fold. I usually show it around Christmas time. So I finished this one. So that's number 1. Number 2 is Plum Street. Move it 2. And that's a bowl full of Marys. Mary 2. And you can see there's a little snowman here. So that's Plum Street, that's number 2. And the following one is number 3. I didn't tape it. Let me just put this on it. Didn't tape the number on it because it's the actual pattern. It wasn't in a plastic sleeve. It's Soda Stitch. And there are 2 patterns that I've included. I couldn't find the other 2, but I found these 2. And it is winter and summer. I think these are so adorable. Here. And that's summer. And there's also a pattern. Now this opens up. It opens up. Can't show it to you, but it opens up like a book. And the pattern for this is on the inside. There's a second pattern that almost looks, well, it says pattern for a clock. I was going to say it looks like a clock. It has the Roman numerals on the 4 corners. 4 corners of a circle. Top, bottom, and the 2 sides. And there's no picture of it in the front nor the back that I can show you what it would look like. But you can leave the Roman numerals out and just stitch the inside. And it's really adorable too. So that's summer. This one's winter. It is number 3 on the giveaways. And please answer the question, how do you store your charts? And please be 18 years of age or older so you can legally give me your address. Please don't say giveaway. And I have a little bit of haul. And that will wrap it up. I fell down rabbit holes. Oh my goodness, did I fall down rabbit? First of all, my friend Alva shared some fabric with me for finishing some pillows. Look how cute that is. Oh, that is adorable. And the Happy Campers. So that's the first 2. Then I had to order some threads from 1, 2, 3 Stitch. So I ordered them. Then I had seen Carol, the Saltbox Stitcher, show this pattern because she went to a retreat and it was exclusive for that retreat. And I said to her, I love that pattern and I'm going to be waiting for it to come out because I need that pattern. And sure enough, it came out. It was the Scarlet House gathering together. Yeah, gathering together. I just love that. Then this is Country Garden Samplings, Trick or Treat. And I am not doing a full piece. I'm going to do them individually, the ones that I like. And not this year, but this will be on my to-do list for 2023. I love the cat up here. I like this guy here. These are ravens, or crows or ravens. You know, at first it's hard to tell until you focus in on them. So yeah, I really like that one. This one, I don't know what I was thinking. It's a cooler design. I should have known better, but I saw it on 1, 2, 3 Stitch and I really liked it. I thought it would be really nice in the summer in the kitchen with lemons. And then when I took the pattern out, it's one pattern, it's in color, and there's a outlining in here where I guess you really can't see it on this pattern, but it looked somewhat confusing. And then it's on a fabric that's this yellow color, so that the whole thing is not really, or is it here, where it's not totally fully full coverage, but a good deal of it is. And so I figured the next 5 years I'll be busy until all my grandchildren are in school. And then they'll be in school and I won't be watching them like I'm watching them now. So I'll have probably a lot more time and patience to tackle something like that. And talking about tackling something, this is another one that I don't know what I was thinking. My friend Tonya decided she wanted to start this and said, if anybody else has it and they want to start it with me. Well, I didn't have it, but I really liked it. And now I'm like, what did I do? It's beautiful. It's Oh Holy Night Nativity. It is gorgeous. I haven't decided what color blue. I'm definitely going to do it on a blue fabric. And I think when we, at our last meetup at Needleworker, she was pulling threads. And I think the part that she was pulling here looked like more purples than blues. So I don't know. I have to pull the threads yet. And there's a lot of blending in this. And so this will be something that, I don't know, maybe one person a year. Or should I start in this? Well, this is not really the center, but should I start here in case I get tired and I can at least have that section done? But look how gorgeous this person is. The wise men, the 3 wise men are here. Anyway, I also got this one from Stony Creek. I should have known better. Once Autumn in the Village with all the outlining, that has a lot too. Then I was watching, and it's so weird that I had it all written here because I wanted to share it, but I'm going to try and remember. It's Katie Strachan, S-T-R-A-C-H-A-N, Embroideries. I will list it down below. I watched her video, and she does do cross stitching. She does do embroidery. She does stump work. She does, I don't know what you call it, stitching with felt and wools. And I don't know, I just got hooked in. Not that I'm going to be doing what she's doing. Oh, and then she talked about caskets. And a casket is not a coffin. A casket, and she explains it very well, is more of a box that you embellish. And she does a lot of that with her needlework, her embroidery. They're absolutely beautiful. And she gives you some history behind it. She has some tutorials out there how to bead pillows. She finished a little pillow. She went around, showed you how to bead it. She has a number of tutorials out. I haven't gotten to see everything, all her videos yet. But there was, she showed her Christmas video with her ornaments that she made. A lot of them with felt and wool felt. And they were, so she showed this book. Now, which one was it that she showed? This one. I stopped the video and ordered it. It's Wool Applique, and it's Seasons of Wool Applique, Folk Art by Rebecca L. Smith. And I saw this, and I just love those pumpkins. I mean, half of the battle of doing this is finding wool to use. But when I got this book, I said, that looks awfully familiar. So I went to my library of books and I found Wool Applique Folk Art by Rebecca L. Smith. So this has been in my stash for a while because I always loved this, I don't know, genre of stitch work. I don't do it. I've done some with felt, but I mean, I love it. I haven't spent the time to actually do it. Like, see, something like this. Anyway, so I fell down that rabbit hole of getting a second book. And Katie said that she used a dual purpose polyester thread, Summer Brown, I think it was called. And then she uses an ecru. And I also watched Maggie Bananami. I think it was her that explained that she uses this thread for all colors and uses the ecru for any white or very light stitching. And this is a Coats & Clark polyester thread. So they were out of the ecru when I went there. Joann's was. I was supposed to go to Hobby Lobby tomorrow. I don't think I can do that, but the next time I go to a store, I will look for it. So that's it. I'm going to keep the giveaway opened. I'm not going to put a date on it. Right before I make my next video, I'll just do the random number generator. The only thing I'm going to say is if you should watch this at a later date and I have the next video out, like the 110, and I call the winners, you can't enter to win again. So I will say I'm going to be back. I'm going to try and do Friday, October 14th, because Gianna's sleeping over on the 15th. So I'm going to try and do a Flosstube on that Friday, the 14th. So I'm going to say the giveaway closes on the 13th of October at 11:59 p.m. So just in case somebody watched, a lot of times people say, oh, I went back and watched some of your videos. I don't want them to think that I'm still giving that away. Oh, this hair today. Anyway, thank you so much for visiting with me today. I hope I gave you a little bit of inspiration, and I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Stay well, be safe, love you guys. Mwah. See you next time.